Hello, guys. Welcome to our first virtual lesson. So I did post another very short video for you guys to kind of give you an introduction on the arc lamps. So right now we are going to go into more in-depth problems. Now I'm outside my house, so if you hear a car honking or something like that, it's because I cannot be inside because my 3-year-old is acting up. Okay, so I'll try to edit as much as the background noise, but if you do hear a car passing by, a helicopter fly by, know that I'm outside doing this. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we are doing arc lamps. So remember, the arc lamps is going to be a fraction of the total circumference of the circle, like we saw last time. So the formula is going to be x degree, the degree of the arc, divide that by 360, and then we multiply by how we find the circumference of a circle, which is going to be times 2 pi r. So we can either do times 2 pi r or we can do times pi d to get if we know the diameter. Okay, so most of the time we know the radius, so we will be using 2 pi r. So let's go ahead and do number 1. So in number 1, the central angle here is, we have a central angle here of 107. That means the arc is also 107 degrees. Okay, so now we can go ahead and set up our equation. It's going to be 107 over 360 times, since you know the radius, we'll be using 2 pi r, so it's going to be times 2 times pi, which is going to be 3.14, and then times the radius in this case is 6. So this is similar to when we found the area. The only thing with the area is we have to square the radius. We're using pi r square, which is for the area of the segment, but now we are just doing a part of the circle on the circle, the arc, so we have to use the circumference formula. All right, so from there we just go ahead and grab a calculator. Let me bring one up. Okay, and it disappeared. So from there we are going to go ahead and add just multiply everything. So remember, just like we did last time, we multiply the whole top right here, and then we divide by 360. So it's going to be 107. Let me bring it in so we can see. Put it on this side. So it's going to be 107, then times 2 times 3.14 for pi, and then times 6. All right, so we get that answer, and then we go ahead and divide this whole thing by 360. Again, so the whole top is 4031 point, I believe was 76. Divide that whole thing by 360. So on the calculator, divide that by 360, and we get 11.199. So here they wanted us to round to the nearest hundred, so that's going to be about 11.119, which is going to round it to 11.2 to 0. Okay, so that's how we do number 1. I'm going to clear this so we can go ahead and have space to work out number 2. Again, you can always pause, you can always rewind the video. This is the beauty of this. Okay, all right, so let's clear that off. Okay, so now we are gonna go ahead and do the second problem. Going to use a darker color. All right, so now for number 2, again, it's going to be the same thing. We know the radius here is 15, and we know the central angle is 38, so that means the arc is going to be 38 degrees as well. So again, from there we just take it and plug it into the formula. So again, that's going to be 38 over 38, sorry about that, over 360, and then times again the circumference, which is going to be 2 times pi, which is going to be 3.14, and then times the radius, which is 15. Okay, so basically 2 times 15 is 30. And now we go ahead and multiply the whole thing, the top, and then divide by 360. Let's grab a calculator again. So this is going to be 38 times 2 times 3.14 times 15. We get all that, so we get 3579.6, and then we are going to divide that by 360. Okay, so that's going to give us 9.94. That will be to the nearest hundredths, and if we have to round to the nearest tenth, that will just be 9.9 to the 10th place. Okay, all right, so that's a review of basically what you saw in the very first video that I posted from another source. All right, so now let's do a little bit more complicated problem. These were pretty straightforward. All right, so on this problem, they're asking us to find RQT. So RQT is this piece right here. Okay, so RQT is the same as this central angle right here. So now we need to figure out what on the planet is the central angle. Now if you notice, this side is 90 degrees. That means this whole side right here is going to be 90 degrees as well. Let me switch colors. Okay, so that means this whole piece right here is 90 degrees. So we need to find what W is, and then from there we can go ahead and figure out what angle UWT is going to be. So let's find angle VWU. So we get V. Let's switch colors. So to get angle VWU, we have to do 180 minus 127. So remember again that these two are going to be, let me put a circle around them, that these two are supplementary, they are linear, so they should add up to 180. So just to get W right here in the middle, all we gotta do is subtract that 127 from 180. So let's do that. 180 minus 127, and that gives us 53 degrees. Okay. So that means this little piece right here is 53. So if the whole thing is 90 degrees right here, so now to get just UT, okay, so now to get just UT, the degree of UT, or the central angle here, we just go ahead and subtract that from 90 degrees. So to get angle UWT, we do 90 minus 53. So, and from there we can go ahead and subtract 90 minus 53, and that gives us 37. Okay, so that means this piece right here is 37 in degree. So now we need to actually find what it is in meters. So now that we know what UT is in degree, now we can go ahead and plug it into the formula for the arc lengths. Okay, and for that, so we're going to do 37. So to find arc UT, we do 37 over 360. That's the portion of the circle that we're dealing with, times again pi, 3.14, times 2, times and in this case here, they told us that VS is 12. So that means this whole segment right here is 12. So you can either do 12. So I know the whole diameter here is 12. Okay, so we're looking here at the diameter, so not the arc, I'm pointing at the diameter here. So that means the radius is 6, so you can plug in the 6, or you can just do pi times the 12. That will still give you the same thing. And now we grab a calculator and multiply it out. So we do 37 times 3.14, and then times 12, and we get 1394.16. And then we are going to take that whole thing and divide by 360. and we get about 3.87. Or if we round it to the 10th place, about 3.9. Okay. All right, so that's the second example. All right, so let's do one more. Okay, so with this one, they want us to find the length of KJG. K is right here, and then we have J, and then we have to go all the way to G. So it's K, J, G. So practically we have to find this whole piece. Okay, and then they also let us know that JH is 12, so the whole diameter of the circle is 21. So we have the diameter is 21, so in that case we're just going to use pi d for the circumference of the circle. So we need to find everything else. Now we can see here that since they want practically the full circle, all we have to do now is find what this piece is and then subtract that from 360. Now, if you look at KLH, this whole angle right here is vertical to JLI. So these two are vertical, so that means they're going to be the same. Let me go ahead and mark the angles I'm looking at. So this whole angle and this whole angle is 85. Again, because they're going to be vertical angles. So from there, we can just do 85 minus the 59 to get the missing piece. Okay, so the missing piece is 26. Okay, so this right here is 26. Darker color so you guys can see. All right, so since this little slice is 26, now we can subtract that out of the whole 360 so we can get the remainder of the circle. It's gonna be 360 minus 26, and we get 334. So this whole arc, okay, so the whole thing here is 334. So now we can go ahead and plug it into the formula. So we're gonna do 331 divided by 360 times pi 3.14. This time I'm not going to use the 2 since they gave us the whole diameter already. So we're going to use times 21 instead of splitting 21 and then multiplied by 2 again. We're just going around in a circle. All right, so again, remember, multiply the whole top and then divide by the bottom. So let's plug that in. 334 times 3.14 and then times 21. That gives us 22,023.2696. Okay, and then from there we divide that whole piece by 360. And we get 61.18 if we're rounding to the hundreds, or 61.2 if we were rounding to the 10th place. Okay, so that was it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message on Remind, or you guys can also ask the question in Teams. I'll see you guys hopefully in 2 weeks. And also for the next lesson. Have a good one. Bye-bye.